Back here in Berea, Myles Garrett holding his press conference after signing that record-breaking extension this week. And Mary Kay, he had some messages he wanted to deliver to Browns fans who were maybe cynical for his reasoning and why he was back with this football team. And the big thing is he still wants to bring a championship to Cleveland.
He really does. That's the whole thing, and he says he will do whatever it takes to do that. Before it was he was going to be willing to do whatever it takes to go somewhere else. Now he's going to do whatever it takes to bring that championship to Northeast Ohio, which he has wanted to do for years and years. So let's see if he can deliver.
Yeah, Ashley, I mean, he was adamant, and we've heard him say this before, but again, it does ring a little bit different after signing this extension, after basically agreeing to play the rest of his career here. I mean, I guess there could come a point where he wants to trade it again, but this contract probably takes him through the rest of his career, and so now it really is about winning a title.
Yeah, and, I think we as a media group did a good job of asking him the hard questions. I think you guys would agree. And he talked about, well, what happens if you guys do struggle going forward and what has changed? Like, he answered all of those questions and talked about, well, he'd be putting forth his best effort to try and turn those struggles around on the field. And he talked about how he feels like he and the Browns front office coaches, they're all in a better place now after having gone through this and with this extension settled. So I think he got asked just about every question that you would be wondering after such a public trade request.
And, Mary Kay, I think one of the messages he tried to deliver was this trade request and this whole saga helped create some conversations with Andrew Berry and the Browns front office. And that was one of the things I think he wanted to deliver as far as, what changed, what did this impact. Ultimately, it was those relationships with Andrew, ownership, and kind of where everyone sees this going.
Yeah, one of the things that I asked him was, how did the fact that Jimmy Haslam refused to take that meeting with you, how did that impact these extension talks? And he said it kind of did drive him back to Andrew, and it moved the discourse further along and really helped sort of lead to this extension, which that's the way that I was looking at it. It really seemed that was an impetus for helping to get this thing done because they presented such a united front. Another thing that really stood out to me was the fact that he doesn't feel like he needs to make amends to fans in any other way but then to go out there and play as hard as he possibly can and to show them with his performance on the field that he means business here.
Yeah, he actually said at one point, Ashley, if it were about the money, he could just mail it in and not perform on Sundays. But his goal is still to go out there and dominate when the Browns are on the football field, and that's how he plans to win this fan base back.
Yeah, I did think that part of it was interesting. I mean, I asked, too, about this idea of, hey, you were out here publicly saying, I want to go somewhere else because I don't think this team can win a Super Bowl. And now you're talking about wanting to help bring in free agents. Like, are you worried that that's going to have an impact? And it was kind of, I thought, along the similar lines, his answer of, well, basically, I'm here. So that should ease anyone's fears that he went from having such that strong opinion on it to just obviously coming back anyway.
Well, one of the guys that'll have to block Myles Garrett in training camp just walked behind us, DeJuan Jones. So we got that going for us. Mary Kay, ultimately today, listening to Myles through this whole saga, kind of explaining what happened, what did you come away feeling today?
I came away feeling like Myles is genuinely happy to be back here. I think he really realized just how important it is for him to be in this Cleveland community. He's embedded here. This is home to him. I never felt like he was going to be happy going somewhere else. I never felt that way. You see him at Cavs games. He's part of the Cavs minority ownership. He's got a stake in the Cavs. He's just such a part of the fabric of this community. And I did also ask him, did you talk to Joe Thomas about this? Because Joe Thomas really also did believe that Myles would be much happier staying here than going somewhere else. And he did consult with Joe Thomas, which I think was helpful.
And the reality, too, is winning here, Ashley, would mean so much more than winning anywhere else. And you just can't take away what that would mean if he could actually help turn this team into a championship team.
No, and I know, Mary Kay, you wrote that in your initial Joe Thomas on Myles Garrett story, too. And I think a guy like Joe understands that and obviously understands the importance of spending your whole career with one team. It's not the opportunity a lot of guys get in the NFL. To have it is pretty rare. To have a team want you this bad, I think, is pretty rare, especially at this stage of Myles' career. I'd argue he's still in his prime, but realistically, you got to believe, closer to the end of his career than the beginning. So I guess all's well that ends well just seems to kind of be the hope on both sides here.
Okay, well, we will have full coverage of everything Myles had to say as he held his press conference after signing that extension with the Browns. You can find it all at cleveland.com/Browns.